Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving deep into a fascinating case study about boosting efficiency in a polymer and resins factory.
Sounds intriguing.
It really is. Imagine, right, your factory just humming along, everything's going great, and then bam, everything grinds to a halt because of those pesky tiny iron particles.
Ugh, a nightmare scenario for any manufacturer.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what Mouzzam, an operations manager at a polymers and resins factory in the Middle East, was dealing with.
Iron contamination.
Yep. Their cooling water system was riddled with these tiny iron impurities, wreaking havoc on their equipment and ultimately affecting their product quality.
It's a surprisingly common problem in many industrial settings. Iron, even in minuscule amounts, can really disrupt those sensitive processes.
Right, and it's not always easy to detect until it's too late. So Mouzzam knew he had to find a solution, and fast. His search led him to Sinoneo magnetic Ferrous traps, and, well, the results were pretty remarkable.
Oh, tell me more. What makes these traps so special?
Well, for starters, Mouzzam was incredibly thorough when he reached out to Sinoneo. He didn't just say, hey, I need some magnets. He went all out with the specifics. Think stainless steel grade, pipe sizes, flow rates, you name it.
Wow, he was prepared. I can already see why this was a success story.
Exactly. He gave them everything, even down to the pressure requirements and the type of O-rings he needed. It was like he had this master plan all laid out.
That level of detail is so important when you're dealing with specialized equipment.
It really is. And it speaks volumes about Mouzzam's commitment to finding the right solution. And get this, Sinoneo was just as impressive. They provided Mouzzam with detailed CAD drawings and photos of similar products to give him a clear picture of what to expect.
That's great. It builds trust and ensures everyone's on the same page right from the start.
Exactly. And they didn't just stop there. Sinoneo actually went the extra mile and gave Mouzzam some tailored advice and recommendations based on all those specifics he provided. Talk about going above and beyond.
Now that's what I call excellent customer service. You know, it really highlights a crucial point for any manufacturer looking for solutions. Communication is key.
Absolutely. The more details you can provide, the better the supplier can understand your needs.
Couldn't agree more.
And let's not forget about the speed. Sinoneo delivered those traps in just 28 days.
Wow, just before the Chinese New Year holiday, no less.
Yeah, talk about cutting it close. It just goes to show how committed they were to helping Mouzzam minimize any downtime at his factory.
Time is money in manufacturing.
It really is. Every minute counts. And guess what? Mouzzam wasn't just impressed by the speed, oh no, he was blown away by the look of the traps. I mean, he actually said the mirror-polished stainless steel looked like pieces of art.
That's awesome. It's always a bonus when a functional piece of equipment is also visually appealing.
Right, it shows that they care about the details, that they take pride in what they produce.
Absolutely. And that attention to detail often translates to a higher quality product overall.
And speaking of quality, we'll delve into the incredible results that Mouzzam achieved after installing those traps. Get ready to be amazed.
So, those beautiful high-tech traps, well, they did more than just look pretty.
Yeah, tell us about the results. Did they actually solve the problem?
They absolutely did. Before the traps, Mouzzam's factory was losing around 10 hours every single month because of all those iron-related issues.
10 hours? That's a lot of downtime.
It is. But get this, after installing the Sinoneo traps, that downtime plummeted to less than 2 hours per month.
Wow. So basically a whole extra day of production every month just from adding a few magnets.
Exactly. It really puts the cost of those seemingly small iron particles into perspective, doesn't it? And it's not just about the time saved.
Right, there's got to be more to it.
There is. The quality of the resin they were producing also skyrocketed. Before the traps, the iron impurity content was hovering around 0.05%.
That doesn't sound like much.
It's not ideal, especially in an industry where purity is everything. After those traps were in place, that number dropped to a mere 0.01%.
That's a massive improvement. I bet their customers were over the moon.
Oh, absolutely. In the resin and chemical world, even the smallest impurities can completely change the final product.
So they were able to produce a much better product.
Exactly. And happier customers, of course. And here's the kicker. Ready for this? Installing those Sinoneo traps led to a 15% increase in the entire cooling water system's efficiency.
15%? That's incredible.
Isn't it? It just goes to show how fixing one seemingly small issue can have a ripple effect throughout the entire system.
So it's a win-win-win situation. Less downtime, better quality, A&D, a boost in overall efficiency.
You got it. And it all comes back to Mouzzam being proactive.
Proactive.
Yes. Instead of waiting for everything to completely fall apart, he thought ahead and tackled the problem before it became a major disaster.
Smart move. So he basically avoided those costly breakdowns and kept production humming along.
Exactly. It's a lesson we can all learn from.
But are these magical magnetic traps the answer for everyone dealing with iron?
That's a great question. While magnetic filtration is a fantastic solution in many cases, there are definitely a few things to consider.
Like what?
Well, first off, you need to really understand your iron problem. Where is it coming from? How much is there? What size are the particles?
Sounds like a bit of a science project.
It can be. But once you have a good grasp on your iron situation, then you can start to figure out the best way to tackle it.
So magnetic traps are best for.
They're really good at getting rid of those super fine iron particles that are magnetic.
Got it. Perfect for industries where even a tiny bit of iron can mess things up.
Exactly. But there are other things to keep in mind too. How fast is the liquid moving? What's the temperature? How much pressure is in the system?
So there's no one-size-fits-all trap.
Nope. That's why communication is so crucial. When you're talking to a supplier like Sinoneo, the more information you give them about your specific needs, the better.
Makes sense. So you got to find that perfect trap for your unique situation.
Precisely. And when you do, just like Mouzzam, you can see some amazing results.
So we've heard Mouzzam's story about how he tackled those pesky iron particles in his factory.
And we've talked about those magnetic Ferrous traps and how they can be a real game changer.
But what's the big takeaway here? What can our listeners, especially those in similar industries, learn from all of this?
I think Mouzzam's story is a great example of what can happen when you're proactive.
Right, he didn't just sit around waiting for things to go wrong.
Exactly. He was thinking ahead and looking for ways to prevent those problems before they even started.
And that saved him a ton of headaches in the long run.
Absolutely. Less downtime, better quality, and a more efficient operation overall. That's what being proactive can get you.
It's like that saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, or something like that.
Exactly. And it's not just about iron contamination either. This applies to any kind of potential problem in a manufacturing setting.
So where should someone start if they want to be more proactive in their own factory?
I think the first step is to identify those hidden iron particles in your own processes.
What do you mean by that?
Well, think about those little things that slow you down or cause problems. Those inefficiencies that might seem small but actually add up over time.
Oh, I see. Those recurring issues that everyone just kind of accepts as part of the job.
Exactly. Once you've identified those areas, then you can start brainstorming solutions.
So, like, maybe magnetic filtration is the answer, or maybe it's something completely different.
The important thing is to be curious, to question how things are done, and to be open to new ideas.
Just like Mouzzam was when he reached out to Sinoneo. He saw a problem and wasn't afraid to seek out expert advice.
And in the end, he found a solution that made a real difference for his factory. It's proof that sometimes the simplest solutions can be the most effective.
So if you're listening to this and you're dealing with your own set of challenges, don't be afraid to think outside the box. Do your research, talk to experts, and you might just find that innovative solution you've been looking for.
It's all about finding those hidden opportunities to improve.
This has been a great deep dive into a real-world success story. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.